Issa. She writes the blog Single Mama NYC. She's a native New Yorker, a single mom, a freelance writer, and a single parenting life coach. In her free time, she's working on starting a nonprofit that focuses on mental health support for single parents. She's a little nervous. Please join me in welcoming her as she reads The Horror of Mealtime.
For a long time, I thought I had two names. First, there was Issa Maria Mas. Then, and this was the one I heard most from my grandmother, who was my main caregiver growing up, there was, ay Dios mío, dame paciencia. Abuela would say that so often it took me a while to realize that what she was really doing was pleading to God for the patience not to strangle me. Mealtimes were especially difficult for us. Isa, cómete la comida antes que se te enfríe. Grandma, I don't care if the food gets cold. I'm not hungry. Te vas a morir. Cómete la comida. Grandma, I'm not gonna die. I had lunch. Almuerzo. Eso no es suficiente. Estás demasiada flaca. Come. I am not too skinny. And I'm not hungry. Ay, Dios mío, dame paciencia. This could go on and on for what seemed like forever to me until one of two things happened. A, I would either eat some of the food just to make her stop torturing me, or B, my mother would come in from work and rescue me from that never-ending struggle. Option A was my least favorite solution because no matter how much I ate, Abuela was never satisfied. Muchacha, no comiste nada. Grandma, how can you say I didn't eat anything? Didn't you see some food missing from my plate? Did you see me put it in my mouth? Pero todavía te queda tanto. Yeah, of course there's still much food left on my plate. I'm one 11-year-old girl. You put enough food on there to feed a truck full of grown men. Malcriada, she would sneer at me. It took me a very long time to truly understand the term malcriada. You see, the malcriada, the way Abuela meant it, was used to remind me that I was being too sassy for my own good, a smart aleck. The funny thing is that the exact translation for malcriada is to say I was raised wrong. It was an odd thing to say, considering she was the one raising me. This was merely one of the many contradictions and complexities I had to fight every day of my life. The battle had been an ancient one. From the stories she would tell, she had been trying to get me to eat since I was a toddler. She would sit in front of my high chair and make the spoon fly around like an airplane to distract me so that she could catch me when I least expected it and stuff some food into my mouth. From what she says, sometimes I ate it. Sometimes I would spit it out at Suki, the dog. Ay, Dios mío, dame paciencia. Now, it wasn't that I didn't like Abuela's food. Actually, she was a really good cook. It's just that I think in Puerto Rico, during the time Abuela was young, they must have served food in gigantic pots filled all the way to the top, and you were forced to eat it all. She must never have gotten used to the fact that we ate on normal-sized plates in New York City, because she still piled on the food as if I was going to be in the desert for the next week without a meal. No matter how many times I told her that it wasn't that I didn't like what she cooked, it's that I wasn't hungry, or that there was too much food on my plate. She still insisted she had made me one of my favorite dishes, so I should be really happy to eat it. All. Cómete la comida, Isa. I don't want to eat, I'm full. Pero a ti te gusta el bacalao. I know I like the fish. Grandma, I just don't want any more. Pero si no comiste nada. Grandma, how can you say I didn't eat anything? These days, I can't stop eating until every last grain of rice is gone. When I get as big as a carnival sideshow act and become a woman who is so huge that she has her own zip code, I will blame it all on Abuela. But it won't matter, though. To her, I will still always be demasiada flaca. Too skinny? Huh. Thanks.